Light on set.
Roll camera.
Sound speed.
Mark, please. And action.
Hello, my name is Julie Gale. I'm the Director of Education and Family Programs and the Festival Director of the Tumbleweeds Film Festival for Kids. This year is our third year to host the Tumbleweeds Kids Film Festival with our friends at Utah Education Network. This year in Students in Focus, you're going to see much younger filmmakers creating stories that are extraordinary, especially our kindergarten, first, and second graders. We hope that you enjoy these films and see the creativity that these young individuals have brought to the filmmaking. And if you want more information, please go to our Tumbleweeds Film Festival website, which will be again in April 2026 at www.tumbleweedskids.org.
Welcome back to Students in Focus. I'm Katie, student producer at the Utah Education Network. Tonight, we're here celebrating with student filmmakers at the awards night of the Tumbleweeds Film Festival for Kids 2025. The students brought their families to view their films on the big screen for the first time. The Tumbleweeds Film Festival showcases films about kids and for kids. The annual event features a student film competition and presents workshops to engage with Utah's young and curious content creators. The event is open to all Utah students, grades K through 8, and we got to interview the winners.
My name is Alexia and my movie is called Neverlasting, and my role in it is basically kind of supporting them as like a date, and yeah, it's about a role. It's like called like how relationships don't really last. I read a lot of romance and drama, so that's kind of what inspired me in making my movie. My favorite part of making my movie was very romance and like just romancing. It feels very amazing. I'm very grateful and I'm very, very excited.
Did you hear that Brian and Karen broke up? Relationships don't last.
Sorry.
Thank you. What's your name? My name's Sarah. over.
We teach confidence and we teach competence.
Total Aggie domination. I will teach you how to focus this camera, how to freeze this action, how to blur that action, how to get good audio out of any situation. I'll teach that technical stuff, but in the end, my goal is swagger for students.
These professors, they don't only teach you what you need to know, they do it with you.
Because of the fundamentals I've learned in this program, I can be plugged into any type of video project.
News stations love our students because they're prepared, they're professional, and they tell good stories. We win awards for any type of video production that we do. Our students are trained well, and it shows.
My name's Van Niederhauser. My film was Defense, and I am the director of my film. A kid that throws his ball over the fence and he tries to get it. Just being outside with playing outside. Refine your idea more and more to make it better and better.
I give up.
Thanks for joining us at the Tumbleweeds Film Festival Awards Night. We had so much fun catching up with the winners and had a blast watching their films on the big screen.
I signed up for audio apprenticeship as I wanted to expand what I could do with music and also just get to know more about how I could make it.
I signed up because I really want to do audio as a career, and this is just kind of helping further my knowledge.
I heard animation and free class. There's this really cool place called Spy Hop, and I kind of fell in love with it. Some of the first skills I learned was how to use your voice,
as well as like how lighting works, how to build a camera and stuff like that.
I've learned to empathize with the audience more, which has helped me to draw more people in so they'd be more willing to see what something's about. I feel like you learn a lot more than you do in like you would in a college class because you get hands-on experience in everything that you're doing.
It's a really good environment. It's a very good community. I feel like self-expression is like really empowered here. You're not scared to be who you are around people.
The environment is so great. Everyone here is so nice and accepting, and like we're all just like trying to follow our passions and learning and growing from each other.
Everyone's great. Super happy, chaotic, fun times.
One of our favorite things about the Tumbleweeds Film Festival weekend is making connections with others in the industry. We met the director of Space Station Animation Studios and had the opportunity to visit the studio this summer. Nathan Riddle started his animation career in the video game industry working as lead animator on games like Animal Jam Play Wild, which was one of my favorite games to play when I was a kid. He now has been with Space Station Animation since 2021 and is very passionate about the work they do.
Feeding some people some donuts.
You were feeding people donuts? The same donuts you showed me this morning?
Yeah, balloon donuts.
Balloon donuts, they're
Okay.
so fun. So that's my boss. That's Adley. She comes in and she really does have a very active role in our animations. So Space Station Animation is an animation studio for the creator economy. We work for Sean Duras and the A for Adley YouTube channels, and we reimagine the stories that A for Adley and their family create for their channel. We reimagine those as animated cartoons. All right, so I met Sean from a phone call. Well, a video call. Well, he sent me a message because a bunch of my friends who are animators had reached out to him about animation work, and he asked, hey, can you help me build the studio? And he says, no, you need to talk to Nate. You need to talk to Nate. You need to talk to Nate. So a bunch of my friends, luckily, were some of the first ones to talk to Sean about animation, and they kept dropping my name. So he reached out to me by video text and said, hey, everybody's dropping your name. I need to talk to you. And luckily, I just live up the street. So I just buzzed down for a quick chat, and he told me what he was into, and I looked at my goals and the things I wanted to do with animation and real-time technology, and they just really aligned really well. So we immediately jumped on starting this animation studio together. In the animation studio, there are a lot of roles that I oversee, one of which is our concept art and storyboard team. That's the very beginning. And we have a team of, I believe, 4 people, a storyboard artist and 3 other artists. And they're the ones that take the initial ideas of the video that we're doing and create it into an animatic and a storyboard and create all the concepts for all of the things that we need to create. And then it goes on to our modeling team. Our modeling team are those that take the concepts and the inspiration and create a physical 3D model inside of a 3D software package. And then that goes on to our animation team, where the first step is character rigging, where we basically create all the puppet controls so that the model can be moved. And then our animators animate it and bring it to life and create the illusion of life, obviously. So it's not alive, but we create that illusion. Part of my job as the studio director is one, making sure that things flow well, the pipeline works, that people have what they need, but also just making sure that the schedule is hit. We plan out what's going to happen when, and just making sure that everybody is hitting those milestones and just making sure that the show runs. The favorite thing about my job is, one, I get to create animation all day long. I love animated storytelling. I love being able to bring goodness into the world through the stories that we're telling. That's one of the things that I love about my job. It's really easy to look at somebody who's at the top of their game doing something and be like, oh, I could just be able to do that. But getting here takes a while, right? There's a journey involved, and it starts with education. You have to learn your stuff. I have this phrase that I always tell people. I taught for a while as well, and I tell this to my students. And I'd be like, you need to be nice and not suck, right? Nobody wants to work with somebody that's not nice. We all want to work with people that we can get along with. So always be somebody you can get along with. And also don't suck. You have to be good at your craft, right? You have to be good at your craft. And how do you get good at your craft? Through education and through practice, right? So when I went to school at the Academy of Art University, and after graduating, I was a year before I found a job. There was a lot of competition. It was hard, I almost gave up, but I kept working little freelance gigs, little side projects, little personal projects, things I could do to keep working on my craft until I was good enough to get that job. And then finally I got my big break and I landed a job for a company called Smart Bomb Interactive. And they were working on a game called Pac-Man World Rally. And it was a little kart racing game, kind of like Mario, but it was the Pac-Man characters. And that was super fun. And then we started picking up other little game projects. We did the B-Movie game for the Wii. We jumped on and did Snoopy Flying Ace and Snoopy versus the Red Baron. And those were some really fun, iconic games that we had made. And I didn't think I was going to get into games. That's another thing. I was going for the movies, right? But a game opportunity came. And so I jumped into that. But as we were going, we realized that we wanted to do something that was more of our own IP. And so we changed the name of the company to WildWorks, and we created a game called Animal Jam. And Animal Jam was a super fun game that we developed. I was able to work on all the animations, developed out the animation pipeline, created, the models were created and we rigged them up and put those out there for the kids to really enjoy. But I learned animation and I learned real-time tools. And I knew I wanted to do more animation using real-time tools to tell more narrative stories rather than just game stories. And that's when I met Sean Duras. He wanted to build an animation studio, and I'm like, I've been wanting to build an animation studio with this philosophy, and he's like, I want to reimagine stories, and I'm like, sweet, let's do it. And so then we came here and started this studio, which started out like 3 people, and now it's 25 people. So what's next for Space Station Animation is a lot of the same, which means we really don't know all the time because we're always reimagining new stories that are coming from the mind of this brilliant child and her family, right? They're always coming up with these fun, imaginative ways to play together and imagine together. And so it's really whatever fun thing they come up with, we get to reimagine. And so right now we're finishing up our first Detective Adley. We're finishing up a bunch of mermaid episodes, so they've been playing a lot as mermaids, and so we've just last week released our first mermaid episode, and this next week we're going to be releasing our second part to that. So it's a 2-part series, which has been a new thing for us. And so a lot of mermaids, and then we're going to be going into the end of the year. We always do some turkey songs, and we always do a bunch of stuff, fun stuff for Christmas, and leading up to that we've always got a fun haunted house episode that we release every year. So that's what we've got on the horizon, of just continuing to reimagine the A for Adley IP as a family cartoon for kids to enjoy. So if I were to give some advice to anyone wanting to get into the entertainment industry, it's about story. No matter what you do, whether you like to draw and create concept art, whether you want to be an animator, whether you're on the tech side and want to create the technology that allows this stuff to happen, or you're a musician. One, there's a lot of opportunity for anybody to come play in entertainment, but it does take a lot of work and it is a volatile industry. And so you need to get into it knowing that it might be a little bit rough. Sometimes you have a job and then that film is done, and so you have to go look for the next gig. So it's not always a stable industry, but it's a super rewarding industry because you get to bring stories to life. You get to have an impact on the world in a way that no other job really can. And that's really powerful. So it's about storytelling. Learn storytelling and how your drawing, your music, your technology, your animation, your acting, your camera work, how does it help tell the story? And really get into storytelling. And then try out all the different parts. Find out whether you like running a camera or being in front of the camera, whether you like animating or 3D modeling, or drawing, or music, or business, right? It's all a business at the end of the day. And there's a place for everybody in entertainment. That is the awesome thing about the entertainment industry. Anybody can make a living in entertainment.
Thanks again to Nathan for taking the time to be on our show. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Students in Focus. You can check out past episodes on our YouTube channel or uen.org/studentsinfocus. And don't forget, you can submit your project to be featured here on UEN TV. Catch you later.